Hey guys, Kamara's name, and today Majora's Mask 3D is the game. In the last episode, we met all of the members of the Indiegogos. We played the Great Bay, the New Wave Bossa? I forget what it's called. We played it for Lulu, the Song of Her Children. And in this episode, we're going to be going through... Oh, we also got to the next temple of the game, Great Bay Temple. In this episode, we're going to be going through the first half of Great Bay Temple. It is worth mentioning that I am playing... Well, I should say I'm doing this post-commentary right now. Not because I had some sort of recording failure or anything, but because I realized that I do not have the mental capacity to multitask of going through this dungeon. I can't even get out of a sentence when I'm not even playing a video game. I knew that I wouldn't be able to play this dungeon and have coherent commentary at the same time, just because it requires too much focus. And I already said that this is, in my opinion, the hardest dungeon in the game. I have trouble with it. By the way, there's a fairy right there. So I just decided I was going to do post-commentary today, and hopefully it works out. And it kind of does work out, because there's a lot of things I do want to talk about, so hopefully it'll work out well. Another thing that I should mention is that I mentioned this at the end of the last episode, before you get on to the turtle, try to get the fairy that's next to Lulu. But there's also a fairy right there, so... I mean, if you don't have all that many heart containers, then you might want to grab both fairies, but otherwise, one should be just fine. Our objective right here is to light all of these torches. Once we do, a treasure chest will appear. Wow, we're getting our first chest before the temple itself really even begins. Who knew that it would begin literally on the doorstep? Anywho, open this chest for stray fairy number 1. So yeah, we will be going through the first half today, and because I was able to do post-commentary, or rather... Whoa, that's a huge water wheel! It looks like it's turning because of the sheer force of the water coming through the pipe. Because I was able to focus completely on gameplay when I was recording this, I managed to get through this dungeon in about an hour, which is a pretty good time, I would say. Anywho, so, Great Bay Temple. Pay attention to the water mechanics in this dungeon. I know it seems very obvious, but really, basically for this dungeon, we are a plumber. And you will see what I mean here in a moment. Stray fairy number 2 right down there. We are essentially a glorified plumber for the sake of this dungeon. You're going to come right over here and hit the switch into the on position. And you know it's the right position because it's going to line up with the little, I guess I'll call it a shadow. Not really shadow, but the marking that's below, that black marking. Once it lines up, the switch will dissipate. And these different switches will do different things. That one right there will create basically a water elevator for us. But you can see, and in my opinion, you can see it a lot better in the 3DS version of this game than the Nintendo 64 version of the game. You can see that water is clearly pumping through those pipes. I never really made that connection my first time playing this game. It just... I don't know. I mean, I probably knew it on some level of consciousness, but not really. Oh, another great thing about having the Zora's Mask, we get to dive into the ledges. And also get our butt beaten by a Skulltulus. There you go. I went ahead and transformed so I could hit it with my sword and knock it out one hit. Once you kill it, you'll get Stray Fairy number 3. We're really going through this pretty quickly, actually. And I'm hoping that I'm not going through this too quickly, because the thing about it is when I'm commentating and playing the game, I do plenty of screw-ups. I have to pause me playing the game in order for me to be able to get sentences out. And I think it's a more reasonable speed for people to follow along with. Hopefully this isn't going too fast for anyone who's following along. If so, feel free to pause the video as much as you would like. Of course, not that you needed me to tell you that. Kill these Skulltulas here if you wish. You don't really have to, but hey, might as well. Another thing that I brought up before, the stakes are low here, but the stakes might be higher later if we're near a cliff or something. If you wear the bunny hood while you're trying to jump off of a ledge, you will go an extra distance, so calculate that into whatever ledge you're jumping. I get it. That huge water wheel is powering this thing. I don't know how first time me playing this game didn't understand like what we were doing here. Really just getting the water to work again. And in here, this is basically the washing machine of the dungeon. Or, in other words, it's the main room of the dungeon. You can come over here to the side. You're going to find plenty... Oh, did not mean to do that. If you do fall in the water, don't worry about it. Just kind of grab onto the nearest ledge. You're going to notice that you're going to go around very, very quickly. The current's moving very fast. But you're going to notice that there's a lot of magic potions that are around this dungeon. And though that's really because we're going to be using a lot of magic. Because there is so much around this dungeon, I really don't feel it's completely necessary to get a green potion to bring in here with you. If you don't have the magic meter upgrade, then maybe you might want to get a green potion. Just keep that in mind. You do use a lot of magic in this dungeon, and if you struggle with boss battles, you might want to go ahead and get that magic upgrade, because we will be using our magic a lot for the final fight and throughout the entirety of this dungeon. So really, just go ahead and get it. Right down here, underwater, you're gonna see a pot, and this totally is logical. We just shot an arrow through the water, and it just kept on going. I mean, if it was a bullet, I could believe it, but a wooden arrow? Really? Anywho, smash that pot down there at the bottom, and then put on your Great Fairy's mask, and it'll float on up to you. You technically could hop down there with your Zora's mask and then beat it up, but that's kind of difficult to do, and you'll see what I mean later once we get down to the bottom of that thing. It's really just easier to do this. But hey, if you don't have the Great Fairy Mask, well, I think you actually, no, you need the Great Fairy Mask in order to get all the stray fairies in the game, so, I mean, not sure why you're really collecting them if you're not collecting them to collect them all. Anywho, yeah, so you see that the closer you get to the center, the faster the current goes. And it just kind of goes counterclockwise. So what we're going to want to do is look for a middle path, a middle yellowish-greenish path right up here. Let me see if I get the color right. Yeah, yellowish. Yeah, the middle green path. You don't want to swim on through here. I was about to say new enemy, but these aren't new enemies actually, and I don't even remember their name right now. So skullfish, I think is what they're called, something like that. Anywho, all right, go ahead and kill them. And not that that's necessary at all. Also, new enemy right over there, Dexy Hands. We'll see them in just a moment and how annoying they really are. But the great thing about having the Zora's Mask is it's really easy to kill these enemies in the water. Just use your magic, and again, we use magic a lot in this dungeon. Anywho, what you want to do, come up on this platform right over here, transform into a Hylian form because you cannot use your items in any of the other forms, which I gotta say is quite a bummer. I would love to see like Deku Link using a hookshot. Hookshot over to this treasure chest to get the dungeon map. I'm really glad we're getting this thing early because this place makes no sense. I mean, I don't know. I probably give this place too hard of a time. Another reason why I love the hookshot, you don't need to waste your arrows when you can just hookshot something. I will say this though, I really wish you could use a hookshot to grab onto items such as rupees, magic, and hearts. I feel like that would have made the item a lot more useful. Not that it's not useful enough already, but that would have been a really nice touch. And besides, it bothers me that I wasn't able to get that magic over there. Stray Fairy number 4, I believe that was. Anywho, I'm gonna go in autopilot right here and play the game while I've already told you that I'm not really playing the game at this moment because post-commentary. I'm just gonna talk about real life stuff a little bit. Which, by the way, before I get to that, those Dexy Hands back there, they cannot really deal you any damage. They just grab you, toss you around. They're really annoying. Right over here, you want to make sure you kill all these Bio Dekubabas. And while I do that, I will talk about real life stuff. So, I got new neighbors recently. They are nice. It is a lady, and she's the owner of the house, and then there's a guy that's always around. I don't know what her relationship to him is. Boyfriend, husband, probably not husband. I feel like that'd be a little bit more obvious. I'm gonna say boyfriend at least. Anywho, or maybe just a good friend. Who am I to assume? But those are my new neighbors, really nice. Actually, the other night, one thing that I did when I moved into this building, and I only had, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. When I moved into this building, I decided that I was going to cook cookies for my neighbors. I gotta say, that's really cool that I managed to climb up onto that lily pad in the middle of that cutscene. Anywho, after you defeat all the Bio Dekubabas, you will get Stray Fairy number 7. Wow, we're really getting these quick. That's about half of them already. Anywho, what I decided that I was gonna do when I first moved into this area, it was bake cookies for all my neighbors and say, hi, I'm the new guy, this is my name and my contact information. And I did that, because at the time I only had two immediate neighbors, and it wasn't really all that hard to do. So whenever the new neighbors moved in, I figured, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing, I'm gonna make some cookies, go on over, give them my contact information. So, okay, back to the game. Kill those Bio Dekubabas. What's something I want to show you right over here. Never, ever, ever do what I'm doing. Never hookshot onto, oh man, I forget that enemy. Bombchu, there you go. I was like, oh, I can't remember the name of that enemy. Never hookshot onto a Bombchu, it'll just bring it closer to you. you're just gonna want to shoot it from afar, throw a bomb at it, or something like that. But after getting through those 2 Biodeku Babas and the Bomb Chew, you will receive the compass. So I decided I was gonna bake her cookies and go on over. So I baked her cookies, I knocked on the door, I heard nothing. So I thought, okay, it must not be home. So I started walking away, and then I heard a lot of talking, and I thought, oh, maybe I just knocked too quietly the first time. Let me knock a little louder this time. So, I mean, of course, my knock was still reasonable, but it was a little bit louder. So I knocked on the door, and then she answered the door, but she was on the phone with her internet provider trying to figure out why her internet wasn't working, and she stayed there on the phone talking to them while I awkwardly sat there holding cookies in my hand. And to be completely fair to her, which, by the way, small key right there, that's important, you need that. To be completely fair to her, she had been on the call waiting list for a really, really long time, and she finally got a chance to talk to him, so I kind of caught her at a really bad time. She probably heard me knocking, but just decided not to answer the door. You know, I realized after the fact. So I probably would have been best just walking away. But anyways, I just kind of sat there awkwardly holding those cookies while she just stared at me. Anywho, what you're gonna want to do is if you look right down here, you can see there's a pot down there. So what you're gonna want to do is bring out your hook shot, break it again, or use an arrow, either or, and then put on your Great Fairy Mask, which I don't think you technically need your Great Fairy Mask for that, but that's the easiest way to do it because I imagine that the Dexy Hands would toss you into the fairy at some point, but I don't know if that's a risk I'd be willing to take. And also, you might just miss the Dexy Hands altogether. There's 2 red rupees there. If you manage to get both of them in one go, congrats to you. Let me know, because that is really hard to do, but, you know, we'll get a chance to get another one going back through there later. These guys right over here, I think they're a new enemy. Yeah, they're definitely a new enemy. Title, they are a shell blade. It's impossible to beat it if you aim for anything but its ligament inside the shell. Thank you, Tattle. I quite appreciate that. When I don't remember enemy names, Tattle does. So, anywho, after standing there awkwardly for a few moments, she's like, come on in, come on in. And I walked into her house holding cookies, still not having said why I brought them there. She stayed on the phone for about another 30 seconds and then ended her business. She finished, she got the answer that she needed, and then she hung up, and then we talked for a quick minute or two, and I was like, all right, I'm leaving now. It wasn't all that awkward of an interaction, but I always tend to exaggerate things after the fact in my head. Once you get to this room, you're going to want to completely ignore the Octoroks that are over there. New enemy, by the way. Well, actually, no, I'm completely lying. We've seen Octoroks before. Also, ignore the Bomb Chew. Use your small key to go through this door right here. Which, how far are we into this video? Okay, about 13 minutes. Good, good, good. I was afraid that 30 minutes had flown by that quickly. Right over here, you got 2 chew jellies that you can attack. A green one right over there, and a new one, a blue. I think this is blue. Something like that. Another one right over here. It will give you arrows, and they'll keep respawning the chew jellies to give you as much arrows, as many arrows, and as much magic as you need. So go ahead, stock on up. You're gonna want to do that for our fight. Up ahead. Look on up, and you will see. Or I'm getting ahead of myself. Look on up, and you will see. We see Wart, and Wart see us. This is Wart. Honestly, a pretty, very easy mini boss, but I kind of like this mini boss a lot. Not gonna lie, it's different. Not saying it's different to anything in the series, because there have been very similar bosses in the past, but this is unique to Majora's Mask. Anywho, there are many different strategies you can do. You can throw a bomb from afar. You can use your blast mask to knock off these bubbles from around it. Or you can use your hook shot onto them, and then grab a bubble and then slash it, whatever you want to do. The quickest way, not the safest way, I'll tell you. The quickest way, you can also shoot with fire arrows, there you go. But the quickest way, I believe, or the way I at least like the most, is getting right up under it and then just constantly doing spin attacks. Because the first hit knocks it off, and the second spin attack that you do will kill it, or defeat, or pop the bubble, I will say, because I don't think it's living per se, or maybe it is, I don't know. Anywho, you need to take off enough so you'll be able to get to the Eye of Wart. You can either shoot it with arrows, or you can shoot it with your hook shot. Not sure the, shooting with fire arrows really makes a difference here, but hey, I'll go with it anyways, or let's go ahead and switch on over to regular arrows. I think you can also do damage with your hook shot. Let me try this out. Pretty sure. Okay, I really should have taken off more of these bubbles than I did, but oh well. Yeah, you can deal damage with the hook shot as well if you happen to run out of arrows, so arrows aren't really even all that necessary for this fight, technically. Although, with as many arrows as there are lying around, I don't know how you could possibly run out of them, really, but anywho. Let's see, one more hit should do you in. Oh, wow. You're, surviving one, aren't you? Let's see. He's just kind of like eyeing, like when his eyes squinty, he's kind of like, you. He just doesn't look very pleased with us. Anyways, after you deal him enough damage, he will drop to the floor, drop all of his bubbles, which I recommend you go ahead, just do spin attacks and kill them off then. The safest thing you can do is go to a corner and then shoot it from afar. Whoa, weird camera angles. That's being really weird. And then just shoot it from afar. So let's wait till we get a good angle. Because it technically can't reach us in this corner, so that's why I'm here. Anyways, it's gonna decide it's gonna gang right up on us. Wow. This is kind of terrifying. Can you imagine like a little 10-year-old boy being in a corner with a giant eyeball like 100 times his size, like banging around trying to kill him? Ooh. Man. Anyways, after defeating Wart, not sure why they call him Wart, not I, because, oh well. Anywho, you will receive the item of this dungeon, the ice arrows. Now you can freeze enemies and objects. Aim wisely to turn shimmering water into icy something. We're about to get to one of the things of this, one of the parts of this remake that I really don't agree with. But we have a few more moments till we get to that. But I will say that, you know, overall, I get why some people don't like this remake. They really did make a lot of unnecessary changes. And not only unnecessary, but a lot of times I feel like it's kind of like taking a step backward. Kind of like what we're about to see here, but oh wow. Overall, it's a remake. It's Majora's Mask on the 3DS. I'm happy we got it. I will go ahead and stock back up on Magic, although actually I think I was full on Magic before I decided to end that Choo Choo's life. Sorry about that. Or Choo Jelly's life, I guess I should say. Let's go ahead and stock back up before we leave this room. I've defeated every pot in this room. I'm satisfied. Now with our new ice arrows, we're going to want to go face an old enemy, use our new item on them, and get a new reaction. So come right over here. And don't get knocked onto the ledge by the Octorok. Go ahead and select your ice arrows. Let's get into Hylian form and shoot this Octorok with our. That's an Octorok. All I have to do is deflect the rock that spits out. Okay, thank you, Tattle. That's not what I wanted to know. Shoot it with an ice arrow and it turns into an Octoblock. Not my best, but I feel like that one's actually not that bad. All right. You also you're gonna have to transform into Zora Link form, which that's another thing about Zora Link form is he's taller. He's like basically the size of Adult Link, Sorry, I can't speak. So you get a little bit of extra height when trying to jump onto ledges. Although that is annoying how I kept on hopping onto that switch right there. It looks like we're gonna have to shoot him once again and try this again. Anywho, since I talked to you guys last, I told you that I was waiting for all my grades to come in. All my grades did come in. I received all A's this semester. I thought I was about to get knocked off by that block again. Or by the Octorok again. I got all A's this semester like I was trying to do. That's the good news. I don't know why I said that, because there is no bad news. That's the good news! There you go, that sounds more fitting. I got straight A's again, so I've retained my 4.0, which is good because I applied for my school's honors college. I should be hearing back either this week or next week, so I'm excited for that. The summer semester has begun because I'm taking a summer class this year. Not really all that excited for it at all. Not sure why I was going to that path over there. Gonna want to go to this exit right over here. So summer semester has begun. I am currently taking a class called, well, it's elementary statistics. I am taking it as a May course, which they managed to cram an entire semester's worth of statistics into 2.5 weeks. I believe I've already mentioned this, but I'm gonna go through it really quickly just in case I haven't. So it's basically just a crash course version of statistics, final exam and all, regular class and all, just crammed into a short period of time. And instead of going to class for about 50 minutes or an hour a day, I go to class for 3.5 hours a day for one class. Just sit there going through like multiple chapters many chapters in just a single lecture. It's not a very fun time, I'll tell you that. But it's okay. I'm taking the class for a very necessary reason. Anywho, getting on to my complaint about the remake. If you see those little sparkly spots over there, that was not there in the Nintendo 64 version of the game. That's to indicate to you, here in this version of the game, that that's where you can shoot your ice arrows in order to make a platform, or a platform of ice on the water. In the Nintendo 64 version, you could shoot your arrows, your ice arrows, anywhere, make a nice platform, wherever you so please. But in this version of the game, it has to be on one of the little sparkly spots. Why? I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to achieve. I get that you were trying to... I would understand it if like these sparkly spots were there simply to say, hey, this is where you should shoot, instead of, hey, this is the only place you can shoot. That would make a lot more sense. I get it as an indicator, but not as a limit. I mean, I don't see what the point of that is or what problem that solved. So, when people complain about the remake of this game, I can't completely defend it. I do get where people are coming from, because there are things like this. Interesting little tidbit here, by the way. We're transforming between 3 different forms in order just to get across them here. Because we had to use our deku form to get from platform to platform, which although you don't technically need to use that, I don't really believe. That's the easiest way to do it, because you can't just climb up on the ice block out of the water. I don't know why. Well, actually, I guess that kind of makes sense. That would be kind of hard to do in real life. But yeah, we used the Zora form at the very end to climb up the ledge, because Link is just not tall enough. You can also shoot the ice chew jelly, or the blue chew jelly as well, and it as well will turn into a block. Do that to climb up here. Ignore or kill the bomb chew. I'll just go ahead and kill the bomb chew. Whoa, that was weird. Was I? Oh, okay. I thought I was standing on the. I thought I was just standing on air, but there was a platform there. So if you look at the pipe right now, no water going through it. But once we hit the switch, it lights up and you can see things moving through. I just feel like it's so much easier to see in this version of the game. It's a lot more obvious. So I will say that the design, the visuals, that were definitely well updated, I'll say, for this dungeon. And for the game in general, of course, but just for that particular aspect. And I'm gonna keep on rolling into everything, just stock up on all these things that I'm already maxed out at, because it just makes me feel better about myself. Let's see, how far are we into this video? I don't want the ending to sneak up on me, because normally if I'm playing the game, I can just be like, all right, this has been enough. Goodbye, guys. But I'm recording to a recording. It is weird. Anywho, so summer semester has begun. None of my friends are in town right now. They've all gone home because this is summer and people go home during the summer unless you're me and you're taking summer classes. So it's really just me down here, and you know, that's completely okay, because while I only have 1 class a day from 8:30 to 12, you would think that I have a ton of free time. I mean, I guess I do, but I'm not just doing nothing during that free time like you might think. I actually today, and I decided that I was going to do this. Oh, 1 second. Sorry about that. At the time that I was recording this footage, I had someone ring the doorbell and I had to run over and answer it. Anyways, as I was saying, I decided that I was going to do this before the summer semester started, was that I wasn't just going to waste away my, well, I guess the remaining hours of the day after 12 o'clock, that I was actually going to do something productive. And I've gone ahead and scheduled out every single, well, saying it this way sounds kind of dramatic, every single minute of my day, but I went ahead in my Google Calendar and I went ahead and assigned things to do for every little time slot of the day. And I do have a lot of stuff that I'm doing in a single day. So right over there, sparkly water, you're gonna wanna go ahead and shoot it. Yeah. And then climb on up. And this is completely optional, but we're gonna go ahead and transform into Goron Link, or actually, oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Darn it, post-commentary! And actually, whoa, I did get in Goron form. My memory is faulty. You don't want to use your fire arrows to shoot down the ice that's blocking the door. And we'll see a familiar face. Gecko! Except this time he has these little green balls of snot that are jiggling around him that deal you damage and are really annoying. So yeah, same generic fight. You're just gonna want to hunt him down and give him a slash. Now, I want to show you what he does if you get into his little blob of snot, which actually I guess I'll do that in just a moment. Here you go. We're gonna purposefully get into his blob of snot. He does a little bit of a not karate action per se, but like martial art action. He just kind of like jabs you at different angles, and then yeah, it's really, really quick and speedy. He's very agile. So let's go ahead and get out of his. Ooh, I nearly got caught. Anyways, what you're gonna want to do is shoot his little blob of snot with an ice arrow. That'll make it solid. And that didn't work because you need to do it when he's actually up off the ground, so it'll fall, and then so it'll break. And then just go ahead and chase him around. And that's really all there is to this fight for the most part. Anywho, as I was saying earlier, I've gone ahead and scheduled little things out for pretty much every little moment of the day. And let me go ahead and pull that up so I can tell you guys all the different things that I'm doing. I mean, in my calendar, I have the class that I have from 8:30 to 12, and then after 12, I have a lunch break, and then I meditate, and then I have a couple hours of schoolwork, a couple of hours of working on YouTube, about an hour or so of studying Japanese, and then I walk my dog, and then I cook and eat, and then I'm going to try to get back to streaming sometime soon. Maybe by the time you guys are seeing this, I've already gotten back to streaming, but I want to get back to streaming Paper Mario, so hopefully I'll get a chance to do that soon. Anywho, after dealing with that final blow, the snot will just evaporate. Ugh. that means if the snot is evaporating, it's in the air we're breathing. Anyways, last time we defeated Gecko, there's a friendly little frog that was left over. What we're gonna want to do is put on our Don Gyro's mask and talk to this frog. If you're going for 100%, by God, talk to this frog. Ah, Don Gyro, it's been so long. What has brought you all this way? Could it be you came all this way looking for me? Ah, you need not say a thing. Upon seeing that face, I understand. I see, but I had heard that it was still winter in the mountains. When spring comes, I shall definitely go to the mountains, so let us meet again. Talk to that frog if you're going for 100%. Trust me, you will be upset at yourself if you don't. Because we're gonna be doing something after this dungeon with that frog, if you can believe that. Anywho, and then, oh wait, cool, I told you, the last thing I'm doing over the day is streaming, and then that's all I have planned out for the day. Let's go ahead and slash all these pots and everything before we actually leave this room. So, the summer term is finally getting underway. I'm starting to get into a groove of things, finally. But, let's go ahead and exit the door that opened to us, and we know what this chest has to contain, because there's only one thing we get from a chest that looks like this. It is the boss key. Now you can enter the chamber where the boss lurks. And on that note, I think we're gonna end things off here. Next time on Let's Play Majora's Mask 3D, we're gonna go through the second half of Great Bay Temple. I've been Camerani, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Goodbye, guys.